one of the other zombies in your book deals with tax cuts.
Yeah.
And one of the thoughts that's being kind of bandied about as a solution is tax cuts.
Yeah.
How is there a way to kind of balance that? Businesses are going to need some help. Small businesses will need help, et cetera. How would you kind of strike that balance?
Some businesses that may need help, but then if you want to help people, give them help. There's no particular reason. It's not if you do any kind of across-the-board cut in taxes, the question is that directing money to the people who need the help most? Is it by and large, the people who are going to be paying the most taxes are going to be the ones who need the help least. We're worried that millions of people are going to lose their jobs. If you cut the Social Security tax, that doesn't do anything for somebody who isn't earning any money. So this is a tax in I won't say the tax cuts never have a role here, but there's hard to come up with any reason why that should be. If you're going to be trying to direct money to people, why do it through tax cuts except because it fits an ideology which has said that tax cuts are the magical answer to everything?
Understood. One of the other zombies deals with austerity. I think it's fair to say that's a zombie that is going to be at least asleep for a while, would you say?
That's an interesting question. I mean, the idea that that the government should tighten its belt in hard times because that's what people do, that is a zombie. It never dies. It always comes back. Some places more than others. I wouldn't count on it. I mean, the United States, I think we're. It's not an issue right now. But I think the Republicans never actually believed in austerity. They only believed in hobbling Democratic presidents. But but in Europe, they failed to reach an agreement on any kind of Europe-wide stimulus. In a way, the problem with austerity in America was a problem because Republicans pretended to believe in it. In Europe, it's a problem because the Germans actually do believe in it, and unfortunately, I think they still do, even in a time of pandemic.
And even now.
Even now. So now they're saying, oh, we're going to do some stimulus, but you actually look at it and it's ridiculously tiny, not remotely up to it. So we have a real problem. I mean, the two biggest obstacles to sane economic policy right now are let's be blunt, the Republican Party of the United States and the entire nation of Germany.
Okay, and who should take the lead then? Do you think in Europe? I mean, clearly, there's got to be some leadership, some aspect of that, correct?
Well, the question is, Europe has a real leadership gap. It's there are no individuals who have the kind of stature. I mean, Angela Merkel still has considerable personal stature, but she's never used it for on economics, and nobody else. I mean, the French are talking more sense than the Germans are, but not clear that they have the weight in the European Union. And this is a case when the British might be helpful, but they just left. So I'm not sure who's going to do this. I mean, we have a definite. We are approaching this crisis. It's even worse. In 2008, we had problems, and we had some weak leadership in some places, and there were a lot of. But compare the people, particularly not just at the highest level, but sort of a couple of levels down, finance ministers around the world, compared with a dozen years ago. It's like we've become an inferior race of human beings. We just have a really, really poor collection of people in charge now.
Mm-hmm. Are you concerned about a feedback loop because it is a global economy? Okay, and if Europe really doesn't do enough of the things that they really should do, then could we have that kind of feedback loop between Europe and the United States and the world economy because they're not stepping up enough?
Yeah, I mean, now some of those things are a little bit weaker than people imagine. I mean, when all is said and done, U.S. sends about 2% of what we make to Europe, and the Europeans send them maybe 2.5% of what they make to us. And so it's not as if there's a tremendous amount of direct market linkage, but there's some, and there's a lot of psychological spillover and financial spillover too. So if Europe slides into a recession, which looks, actually, I think it's everyone sliding into a recession. All of these things. The Chinese are, we think of China only as a competitor, but it's also a market. Mm-hmm. And China appears to have had its first economic contraction, literal fall in GDP, since the Cultural Revolution. There is a lot of global feedback going along. I mean, each of us is messing up individually, but collectively we're making it even worse.